Hi everyone. So it's coming to the end of January, and I know a lot of you by now will be kind of struggling with your New Year's resolutions. There are loads of statistics that prove that like the end of January is kind of the time where a lot of people fall off the wagon, or what they don't do what they promise themselves, whether that's like working out a certain number of times a week or eating a certain number of healthy meals a day, or whatever your New Year's resolution is. I just thought I'd share my 5 kind of top tips that I've learned from my own mistakes over the past couple of years. So hopefully they'll help you and kind of get you remotivated and back on track if you have kind of fallen off the wagon a bit. So the first tip is establish a routine, and this is something that you just kind of have to work at, because for me, changing my lifestyle was about creating healthier habits, and there's kind of a stigma attached to the word habit in that people just think habits are bad things like smoking and drinking and sleeping in too late or whatever. And habits can be positive too. They can be a positive change, because if you do something enough, like if you force yourself to do something regularly enough, then it will become a habit and you'll just do it automatically. So for me, establishing a routine works really well, because I work well under routines and when I'm a bit organised. So maybe figure out what's the best time of the day for you to work out, depending on maybe your work schedule or your energy levels. If you're not a morning person, then you don't have to force yourself to work out in the morning. Maybe you could go to the gym on the way home from work and put your gym bag in your car so you know that you're going to go to the gym from work. Little things like that just kind of make it a lot easier for you, and you're not going to beat yourself up over the fact that you've not worked out first thing in the morning when you're not a morning person. It's just not going to happen. So definitely kind of get yourself a little routine with your workout and stuff. That really helps me. Tip number 2 is to keep mixing it up and keep on challenging yourself. And I think this applies to everything in life. When you've set a goal, I think it's really good to kind of revisit goals a lot, rather than just make a goal and then never think about it again, or never kind of revisit it once you've achieved it and then think of the next thing that you can do leading on from that. For example, say your New Year's resolution was to start running. Once you've started running and you've kind of set yourself a little challenge to run 3 times a week in the month of January or whatever, this is just an example. Once you've started running regularly, you might want to, if you're a competitive person, you might want to kind of sign up for different competitive races. I'm not saying go and sign up for the London Marathon, but you might want to sign up for like a local 5k or something like that. Something like that would be really good to challenge yourself to do, because that's something to kind of train for and work for. And if you're working towards something, you're more likely to be motivated to achieve that. And if you've got your kind of eye on the prize, then you're gonna just work a lot harder, I find. Just switch it up, just change something, try something new, go to a new class at the gym, just do something different that's gonna change your mindset from just doing the same thing over and over again. My third tip is to shift your perspective of why you're doing what you're doing, why you want to get where you want to get. And this took me a long time to kind of figure out, and this is something that now every time someone tells me they're on a diet or they want to lose weight or they want to be skinny or whatever, this is always what I tell them. And you shouldn't work out and want to lose weight and want to eat healthy because you hate your body. You should want to work out and be a healthy weight and eat fruit and veg because you love yourself. And loving yourself brings like a new sense of self-respect for me, because I respect myself enough to kind of put the right things in my body and avoid the crap that my body doesn't need. So kind of shifting your perspective from something really negative to something really positive and loving to yourself, it helps me so much, because negativity doesn't get you anywhere. It's just like a hamster wheel basically. You're just going to keep going round in circles of negativity and hating how you look and hating your weight, and you're just never going to be able to move forward quick enough. Whereas if you say, you know, I really want to be healthy because I don't want to suffer from really awful kind of obesity, diet related illnesses like diabetes and heart disease and all those horrible things that can happen later on in life if you don't make a change, then that's something that can be really motivating, because at the end of the day, that's what matters the most. It's not about how you look, and it's not about what size dress you are. It's about your health and your life with your family. So yeah, definitely kind of think about what's important. Tip number 4 is to plan ahead, and this is something that, again, I like to be really organised. I'm a bit OCD about knowing stuff in advance, so I like to schedule my workouts around the week, and that's something really helpful, because if you know you have appointments or work or certain shifts on certain days, you can tailor your workouts around that so that you're more likely to be able to fit them in, because just saying like I want to work out 3 times a week, that might not be enough motivation. You need to actually think, well, which 3 days of the week are best for me to work out in, and then write them down in a calendar. That really works for me, because if you kind of set it in stone, you're more likely to think of it as something non-negotiable and really important. It's just a kind of psychological thing for me. If it's on the calendar, then it's like, oh well, I need to do that tomorrow, I need to do this exercise at the gym tomorrow. A few other things that I also do to plan ahead are pack a healthy snack in my bag if I know I'm going to be out on the go, and then if I'm caught in a situation where I'm not home on time or I'm home later and I'm really hungry, I can just grab that out of my bag and have that, and it'll be a healthier alternative to chocolate and crisps and stuff that's sold in most shops. So I'll link my healthy snacks video up here if you want to go and check that out if you've not already. And another thing that people do, I don't do it personally, is plan your meals ahead of time. So if you know you're likely to kind of get home from work late and be really tired and want to order a takeaway, then maybe at the weekend you could make a big batch of food and store it in the freezer. Or stuff like when you go into a restaurant, I always look at the menu online and actually decide before I go what I'm going to eat. That's another thing that really helps me. So definitely planning ahead and just trying to be a bit more organised about it. You're less likely to be tempted and then feel really bad. And the last tip kind of falls on from what I've just said, and that is to recognise your pitfalls, where you go wrong, and to take steps to avoid doing that in future. Because if you're avoiding your kind of weak spots, then you're less likely to feel like a failure and you're less likely to feel really set back. And I think feelings of failure just don't do you any good, and feeling really guilty about stuff doesn't do you any good, and that in turn really demotivates me. I work from home a lot, and during the day I'll often get really busy with what I'm doing, and then I won't eat lunch, and I'll go for like 5 or 6, 7, 8 hours without eating something sometimes, and that for me is really bad, because then I end up binging on something in the afternoon that maybe wasn't the best choice and isn't really like a proper meal. I'll just grab something kind of high in calories and like a really bad snack. So what I actually do is I'll look at the time when I'm working and I'll think, okay, well, it's 12 o'clock now, I'll have lunch at 1. And then I know at 1 that I have to finish what I'm doing and set myself an hour to just chill and make something to eat and sit down and eat it all. And then I'll just feel so much better, I have more energy and I'm less likely to go and grab something naughty in the afternoon. So examples like that are obviously different for every person, but you know yourself and you know those bad habits that you have. Just take a moment to kind of think about them and then think of ways that you can avoid them. So those are my top health and fitness motivational tips, and let me know what yours are. Let me know how you're doing with your resolutions, if you're still going strong, and let me know if you have any kind of fun specific goals and challenges for yourself. I just love talking about stuff like this. I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to goal setting. So yeah, let me know that in the comments and I will see you on my next video.